All right. Good to see everybody. Great win for Oklahoma today. Uh, they're all really good wins. I know the difference between winning and losing, and any kind of way, to find a way to get a win is what it's all about. And appreciate all the hard work, our players and our staff put into this week. Like every week, no different. What the expectations are, and but not necessarily an easy thing to do. Under the circumstances of just disappointment the last few weeks. So, really proud of our guys. Showed guts and toughness, tremendous resolve, and love the hunger and the fight that our guys showed today as a football team. Thought we complemented each other really pretty well for a good part of the game, and then obviously put ourselves in some tough positions as well. There's a lot that was excellent today, and there's plenty that we got to continue to get better at. And but really proud of, again, our players, our staff, for us to have the kind of finish that we are capable of having and that we desire to have. Today was obviously an important day going into our bye week. Getting a victory against a good, disciplined Kansas team that's been playing very well, and they've had a couple of losses now. They've shown tremendous improvement from the Kansas I saw before. Really, they do a great job there. So, again, winning's hard against anyone. Just our fans today were just terrific. They were just great, man, from the Walk of Champions to, helping us win today. It was cool to see that. And again, I know there's sacrifice for everybody. And it's hard, again, there's that, where the rubber meets the road, where they want to stay loyal and continue to be passionate about, your team, even when we're not exactly where we all want us to be. And so I love seeing that, and that was really cool to come into the stadium there at kickoff, just before kickoff, and to see the place packed and loud, and really made a difference for us today. So we broke some records today, with some things that we did both offensively in the half, and set some records in what we did in a quarter as well. So that was cool to see the efficiency of the offense, and really we get out of our own way, it could have been a lot better, as good as it was. But I love seeing our guys in victory formation there at the end. It was a good, hard-fought win, and again, dragging ourselves off the mat and getting back on the saddle. Really proud, of our guys. So with that, I'll open it up.
What does having 100 snaps mean to you? Maybe more importantly, having, I think it was Brent, 38, maybe more than Kansas.
Yeah, again, that's the first time it's been done since 2014, and so there's been a lot of really good offensive football teams. Again, we're far from perfect, but we played a little better on defense again. So that helped, as well. We got into a rhythm in the first half, where we go 4 straight series of punting or forcing a turnover. CJ had a terrific interception there. Really did not like that last drive of the second quarter there, that where they go right down the field right before half. Really took the air out of the stadium. Justifiably so. And then again, we left a lot of meat on the bone, in my opinion, with the ball at the 1-inch yard line, and a couple of turnovers and plus territory when we're moving the ball at will. It made that game a lot more interesting than it needed to be. So what it means, again, the efficiency, running and passing, and again, a lot of strain going on. It takes a lot of discipline to be able to do that, and patience along the way. Great execution, though. I thought the offense really executed for a good part of the game, really, really well. Only punted one time. And again, no telling what would have happened a few of those other series. We had, minus in the turnover margin today. You can't do that and win typically, but they were so dominant. And there's some timing that we actually got in their way and forced them to punt. We forced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 punts and had a couple of and forced a couple of turnovers. So again, it's a really good offense, and you saw the first a couple of drives they executed well. They made some competitive plays, and we'd like to make those plays, but I'd rather it be that way than just guys wide open, with bust and breakdowns and whatnot. So made some incremental improvement on both sides, but the offense really, Dylan, makes a big difference, as we saw today, having missed him for, the last 7, quarters, makes a big difference, in the flow of your whole team, not just the offense.
So from Dylan, what was the biggest thing you saw different today? You mentioned the word strain, you mentioned execution and efficiency. What was different about maybe the whole week?
Then what? Compared to what?
Than 49-0 in Dallas. And 55.
Yeah, so go back to Texas. Dylan didn't play. I don't know if that's the difference, but it's probably not 49-0. And yeah, the week before he missed 3 quarters, of that game, and again we gave up uncontested touchdowns against TCU. The game got out of hand because of the way we played defensively, in my opinion.
So that's why I was asking, what was different about the defense?
Yeah, just playing a little more disciplined. It doesn't take much to be on the wrong side. If we're not, again, it's 3 deep, as you guys have been covering and asking me questions. It's 3 deep, and the corner's not in his third. It's 3rd and 9, and they throw a freaking go ball, and there's nobody in his third. It's going to be a touchdown. And we did that a handful of times at TCU that we didn't make people earn it. It's hard to go up and down the field having to execute, 10, 12, 13 play drives, and when you're, just be sound in what you're doing, it makes it a lot more difficult, on an offense. So we're a little better, doing that today, and got a long ways to go, obviously. But I think just being, more efficient and more sound and better fundamentals, and guys just doing their job and not trying to do too much. Simple execution. I'm again looking at, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6 drives of, 4 plays or less, that we got off the field. So, that's better, and I'll take any, victory we can get right now. Lots of little victories, and really just happy for our guys that they can experience, victory again. Because as I've said, our work and our commitment has been there, and we got to get guys better. We got to improve, and we got to, again, put them in position to be successful. I think that's important, and learn the value of playing with discipline consistently. And today was a little better that way.
Hey, Brent, how important was it to finally finish off some of those turnover chances defensively, especially CJ's early? How big of a lift was that?
No, it was huge. It's always, turnovers are one of the most important stats in winning and losing, and they're in plus territory there. They're down in our side of the field. I think that was the 5th play of a 40-yard drive, and they're in plus territory. So that was a huge play. And our offense, gets the ball back, and they get the ball back and go down and score. And so that's complementing each other. That's doing the little things great. And it was a really nice play by CJ. And even on that, he made this great interception. There's coaching on that play too. Like, you got to have more width and depth. You shouldn't have triggered 2's going to the flat. 1 is coming in behind you. And he makes a great play, but we need to be better. We got to be better fundamentally there. And that's literally the message. Okay, hey, great job, fantastic, nice job. But, and that's where we're at right now, that there's stuff that you can coach even through, success. And we got to do a great job as a staff doing that as we continue to develop our guys.
I know this is obvious, but obviously a whole lot better to be teaching.
Yeah, through success and through winning, no doubt, 100%.
The last few weeks.
Yeah, and it'll be well received. Our guys have had shown great humility, and I made a challenge. You guys, heard it. Where I challenged, hey, if anybody wants to leave, if anybody doesn't, like, you're free to leave. All that. It wasn't as though there was all these bad things happening, but I wanted to make it very clear. What it's going to take. It's going to be really hard. To finish the year. Always is hard. No matter if you're really successful, then you're fighting complacency. You're fighting the noise that goes with it. If you're one of those undefeated teams, usually you have some really good players that are also a lot of people are trying to get their hands on. Or again, when you're dealing with young people, or old people alike, and you're having success, man, you start, taking two hands off the wheel. And so handling success is a lot more difficult than handling, failure, in my opinion. And but both are incredibly important, how you handle both of them. And so, there's no doubt about it that you'd like to have plenty to correct, which we do through victory. It's a big difference. And again, it's, to me, hopefully just the shot in the arm that we need, both confidence-wise and, try to get into a rhythm, we put ourselves behind the 8 ball. And we played good teams, but again, I'm all for getting beat on a play when it's competitive, but not when we're doing stuff that we shouldn't be doing.
Brent, you've been a coach for a long time. You've never lost 3 games in a row in a regular season. I think you have to go back to your playing days at K-State. When you're going through something like that, I know you said last week you got a messenger, someone wanted to give you some thoughts on the thing. But as a coach, as a first-year coach, who do you talk to? Who did you reach out for advice when you're going through things like this?
Same guys I do when I'm an assistant. Like, you feel, if you're about the right stuff, when you have suffered setbacks and losses, which I've had plenty, like, you bear all of it on your own shoulders. You don't think, oh, well, that's the head coach's fault or that's the player's fault. That's not how it works for me. It's like, God, what could I have done? And I did all these things wrong. I could have avoided it. So I've always taken it on my shoulders, and the best players do that too. They point out all the their faults and ways they could have been better to help not have that setback. And so, I mean, I got a great team of coaches. And you think I'm joking? My wife's, she's my biggest critic, and she's got a great voice of reason. She's been a coach's wife for 25 years. So, wives are incredibly smart. They pay attention to everything. And but I've got a great support system from Coach Stoops, Coach Sweeney, Coach Schneider, a lot of other coaches in the profession, a lot of great leaders. That aren't coaches, that maybe are in just great leadership positions, and I take all of it in. I've never felt like I'm above taking advice from people that I have great admiration and respect for, and again, but winning is it takes these certain things to win in the game of football, and whether you're the head coach or you're a coordinator or you're a player, you're a position coach. To me, I don't get too far away from what that formula looks like and the things that it takes to win and be successful. So there's not like, oh, now you're the head coach. Well, it takes something different. No, it doesn't. And everything matters, though. And obviously, when you're dealing with young people, man, they're going to feed off of you. And so if you got juice and energy and confidence and belief and toughness and guts, man, then they're going to, 9 times out of 10, follow suit. And every once in a while, you're going to have some guys that you got to, find other ways to reach them. And so that's what I appreciate about our guys, man. The leadership on this team's been great. We had an excellent, again, week of response. And, again, really, it felt like our backs were against the wall going into the off week. Really important that we found a way to get a win.
Brent, you mentioned confidence a couple times already. Today, you guys never trailed. How important was that for this team?
I think the psyche is always, I love the psyche in sports, and particularly when you're dealing with young kids. And I think it's one of the most undervalued parts of the game, of competing, and, having momentum and, things go well and you execute well, whether it's again, our offense went right down the field. So did KU. But I think how they went down, I think that's important too. The message on the sideline is a little different. It's still, there's a lot of corrections, but I think that's really important. And our offense from the jump really played well. And again, kicking game was really excellent today, and then we did get into a rhythm. So you develop that confidence, and some of it is, again, some of the things that you maybe, again, they had a couple, they went 14 all, so obviously there's plenty that didn't go our way, but how it happened I think does matter. Our guys were really smart guys, and so confidence is an important element without question.
How much did it help that your offensive line looked outstanding today, and it looked like you won every battle. Your running game was tremendous. How much did that help you in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's again been one of our best units all season. They played well again today. Kansas doesn't do a whole lot. They're pretty vanilla. So from a mental standpoint, a scheme standpoint, they again, what you see is what you get, and they when they do bring pressure, they show it. So. And not to take anything away from our guys, it's still putting hats on people, and there's fundamentals, and there's a physical strain. You got to move people and hat them up the right way and gain leverage and pass pro, all those things. So, they played, really well today. That was a huge part of our offensive success, obviously.
Even before Dylan got hurt, you guys had some slow starts offensively. That wasn't a problem today. Is that the week's work? What led to all that?
I think it's just a maturation, and improving, just getting better at the little things. Obviously putting our guys in position to be successful, and then the execution piece, timing and the execution. It's, take what's there and execute at a high level. Everybody has a part in that. One guy goes down, everybody suffers when one guy doesn't do his job. And so today, just, getting 11 guys on the same page and playing in sync and together that's what it's supposed to look like. So, the fast start, again, built the confidence that John was talking about, and, really served us well for the rest of the day. And, super proud of those guys. They all played. And then, critical situations, there's a bunch of really good football plays, tough competitive plays where you got to beat coverage, you got to regain leverage, you're running with toughness. Again, Braden Willis, again, he's outstanding again. I love the toughness that him and Parker play with. And, we just, good decisions today. And, our backs ran the ball incredibly well. They did some things that, took advantage of some things in some of the run game stuff. You saw where the quarterback motioned out, and really did a great job with that package that they had in. But, just to continue to improve. It's a developmental game. And here we are, how many ever weeks we've been playing. Obviously our 7th game, and you should continue to see improvement. Some of it is not necessarily apparent to the naked eye, and some of it's more incremental than you want it to be, and then some of it will be, really obvious. And so I think that you're seeing just fundamentals and understanding and the confidence piece, but guys just getting better.
Brent, that's the psyche part of everything, and last week after the game you said, I think we're a little tired too, and some of the older guys said, well, we didn't do as many reps, we did more mental reps. They said they made sure that they did things with those mental reps. How much of that plays into, not miscuing on a, deep third or playing hard through 3 quarters or 4 quarters, or how many reps they get?
Yeah, some of it's inexcusable, and then others, maybe it does play a part. There's no doubt that even if it's a placebo effect, hey, we're going to practice shorter. Let's just say you practice the same amount of time, but you're like, look, I'm chopping this thing down 2 periods. We're going to be out the field in 20 minutes earlier. If they ain't got to watch on, which they don't, But my point is, in your point is, it definitely plays a part. That But that's this time of the year. Game 6 or Game 7 rather. We modify. And we'll modify it again. During the season, and we got to continue to be fundamentally sound and continue to be efficient. And hopefully by now we're figuring out what our players can and can't do. We can't do everything right now that we would like to do that we feel like could help us against matching up some schemes. We're just not equipped to do those things, and I'm not going to get into all the weeds of that, but I wish we could. But just try to get our guys better, more sound with the things that we are doing, and taking care of their bodies and body, mind, and spirit. That's all part of it. You can't just keep tearing tread off the tires and expect them to perform at the same level. So, but also, we've got a lot of resources here to recover. And so the players have a huge responsibility from sleeping, getting a good sleep schedule and be committed to that, nutrition and hydration and utilizing the recovery resources that we have. It takes a lot, to be able to do that each and every day and to perform at a really high level. That's what it takes. And so as we continue to develop, foundationally our program, we want to create, an environment that's what we do. And we don't do it just when things are going well. We do it all the time, regardless, foundationally.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks,
All
man.
right, appreciate everybody. Have a good weekend.